Everybody, well, it's been a long week, and then I just go back and reflect on it. I do it a lot. I have my conversations all week, even for the year. Just things that I bump into, people I've seen, and just kind of reflect on it. One thing I think this morning, I'll talk to everybody is talking about that, reflecting back and who you influence. I've talked about planting a seed, but one thing I've learned, and I didn't think that would happen, but over 40 some years, it has happened. So there was a story once when I was getting ready to retire. I was running a telemarketing office, and I was training and teaching young kids, and I was building an office with a partner. And then I met my wife, Barbara, and we were doing all this stuff. And it was a lot of fun because we were actually giving away free gifts and making a telemarketing office business, and we did it for 2 years. Well, meanwhile, I'm working with inspiring young kids that were 17, had a work permit, and educating them and helping them and motivating them. At the time, reflect back how old I was probably in my mid 30s, late 30s, getting ready to, not too far from retirement. And I'm just doing this because, one, it was a job, but how I'm sharing my life with you on YouTube doing these podcasts, I didn't know I was planting seeds. I knew I was planting seeds, but not in that way, because I planted seeds mostly with a lot of military people, because that's who I worked with, not with civilians. But now I'm in the civilian sector because I'm getting ready to retire. I was going through a divorce, needed the money. I had to have work. I had to have more money just so I didn't go bankrupt. My kids, I didn't want anybody to suffer. That's just who I am. Plus, I had to pay my bills. So anyways, let's accelerate 15 years further. I'm in Virginia. I get orders to Georgia. I get orders to Hawaii. I get orders back to Virginia. I'm living in Hampton. I'm 50 some miles from away where the office was. I'm in Hampton. I'm out in nowhere land. Who would have known? So me and my wife were at a Food Lion one day. It's probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And running out of nowhere, we hear this screaming. And I'm going defense mode, like I'm going to have to protect a woman or something. Something's wrong. And this young woman's running over with 2 kids, one in a buggy, one in her arms, a baby in her arms, probably a 2-3-year-old toddler in a carriage, and comes running over and jumps on me and is hugging me and screaming at me and telling me she loves me, and I was the greatest guy in the world. And of course, the male's like, yeah, and is there something I had in my past I didn't know? But that wasn't it. And my wife's looking, and she starts talking to my wife, and I'm culture shocked. I'm holding this young child. And then a husband walks in. She introduces herself as a husband. She's got her master's degree. She's working on a doctorate degree. And she's probably, she's a good freaking 15, 20 years younger than me, and inspiring and telling the story. And the whole store had come to the stop and got 30, 40, 50 people around us listening to the story just about me. Now, I had been doing this with her for about a year before I met Barbara, so she didn't know all the background. And then this young lady had moved on, and I moved on, and we all moved on, right? Now we're 50 miles away, haven't seen each other for probably 10, good 15 years. And she goes on and says, your husband is the greatest man in the world. And I'm thinking, why is that? She goes, you don't remember me, do you? I said, I do. I said, telemarketing office. And I said her name, and she started crying. And her husband says, for the past 5 years that I've been with her, all she's talked about is you and how you mentor her when she was 17 years old. And now she has a husband, a career, 2 kids, a degree. And she did, and I brought up the flea story, and I talked about, don't let anybody push you down. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. And here we are, accelerated years later. I've disappeared, moved around. I come back in an unlikely place on the planet, reunited. And I started crying. I started getting emotional. And she's crying. Everybody's clapping and cheering. The whole moral of this is, you plant that seed, it's got to be good. It's got to be good. And if you do some bad seeds, go back and try to heal them. I've gone back to people that I've thought I planted bad seeds, that I felt I had bad, that I had done wrong. That was my moral spirit. And I apologize to some of them on Facebook. I couldn't face to face. And they come back as, Henry, you might have felt that way, you might have thought that way, but you made me a better person. There's still a few people out there that my memory has held hostage on me, and I'm pulling around those regrets that I might have gone too far or something. or done something. I don't know. You don't know if you did. You don't know if you did. You don't know if the apology was good enough. You don't know. But what I can tell you at this age, as I get closer, and probably the part of my life is going to be ending. I'm 61, and I don't know what my future is. My parents lived up until 79, almost 80, except for COVID and smoking and drinking back in their past. Might have damaged them a little bit. I hadn't done all that. But my point to you is, as a human, you gotta respond on those regrets. You gotta work on people, plant the positive seeds, because you don't know when that path is going to cross again, and you don't know what kind of influence you're going to give them. There's people that gave me a lot of negative influence. If I didn't take it and put it away and not think myself as a flea or let them hold my head down and let me drown, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I feel compelled. For some reason, when I turned 60, a lot of things started hitting me in September last year. And I started going through a lot of emotional stuff up and down. And, as the end of what I'm doing and my passion, what I like to do, is it coming to an end. And that's why I take time, 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the morning before I go to work and after work. And then when I'm not around my wife to take stuff away from her, I want to share this information with you. Now, whether you come across and want to listen for 5 minutes what I got to say, that's your choice. If I catch you in the first 30 seconds of the conversation and you say for the whole discussion, that's your choice. But I'm going to tell you what you also have a choice of, is every day morally doing the correct thing. Every day you don't get up and say, I'm going to go rob someone and go kill someone. I'm going to do meth. I'm going to go do drugs. I'm going to do marijuana. I don't agree with all that crap with marijuana being legalized. I think that's lazy police work. I'll get into that later, that people just don't want to pay the money to stop people. Everything that we do is an addiction. It has an influence on our public. It has an influence on our kids. It has an influence on us. And it destroys, and it's a rot. Okay? That's the same with gambling. I've seen gambling come into towns and just take it away. But my point is staying focused on the good and stay away from the stuff that morally is destructive and takes away from the human spirit. We look around our planet. We have so many different cultures and religions and races, and everybody's different. And what we do is we embrace that, and we treat everybody as human. That's one thing that we owe each other, no matter what, is treat everybody fair and human and give everybody the ability to prosper. If I didn't give that girl the ability to prosper and tell her that she could do it, she wouldn't be with 2 kids and a husband and a career and a degree, and her life's going good. And I recapped on that with her in the store. I said, every time you do something different, you have a new journey. When you had your first child, you had another journey. When you had a second child, you had another journey. When you married your husband, that was a journey. You got your degree, that's a journey. Now keep that road straight. Because in life, I look at roads like a chicken foot. It's 3. You got a left road, you got a right road, you got the center road. I always tell everybody, stay in the center of the road. The left road will always lead you down the wrong path. It always has. I've always looked to the left of myself, and it's always despair, it's wrong, it's poverty, it's hate, it's drugs, it's just evil. Don't know why. Center of the road, you're safe. The right road, if you don't watch what you're doing, will pull you off, and it will take things away from you. It's just as bad as the left. The center of the road and the center of the people always stay in the middle. You see the good in the middle. That's what you look for, the good. Not the right, not the left, the good. Sometimes you got to take a hard right turn, come back around and loop to the center. Sometimes you got to take a hard left turn, loop around, come back to the center. Whatever avoidance is in the road, that bump, you got to go around it quickly and come back to the center of the road. That's the important thing in your life. Go around it, get over it, and come back to the center of the road. Look back in the rearview mirror and take that regret or that problem, say, whoo, we got past it. And don't create it again. Don't walk into that landmine. But anyways, that's all I got to say to you for the week. It's been a good week. I work with a lot of great people. They do a lot of great things. And they got to stay focused. And I try to keep them focused. My other nickname at work, I'll tell that another day. I'm going to do another podcast on that. But anyways, all I can say as a person, I love other human beings. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what religion, how you speak, what your politics are. I really don't give a shit. But I will tell you what I do. I'm a factual speaker. If it ain't facts, I don't want to talk about it. If you got emotions and you want to share emotions and you think that's your idealism, I don't share it with you because I'm about facts. I've lived and walked the walk of life of facts. I've tried things that were myth and busted them. I'm a myth buster, And I come up back to the facts. Facts are always the number one rule that will always run your life. Stay factual, stay in the center of the road, and stay focused. All right? Have a good Saturday. Upcoming years still in front of us, and let's keep on going. Henry out. Have a good morning.